Hello everybody, Shannon Bankford in Portland, Oregon with Hobbit Music Studio Online. Today I'm doing my second full-length video makeup lesson, and we're going to go over all of the groove style left-hand patterns I've designed to practice with chord inversions and scales in various styles, which will include octave toggling in the left hand, both in the straight and swung eighth note style, and also two different variations of a country left hand playing roots and fifths with scales in a straight and swung style, and then also a walking bass line type, quarter note bass line type left hand, just arpeggiating chords. And then fourth, we may do a ballad left hand in 4/4 time that will work for you to practice your scales and chord inversions with as well. So I'll probably chop this video up into pieces and post them on my YouTube channel as well as individual exercises. But today, for the sake of my students who are working on all these, I'm going to lay them all down in a row. Alright, so let's get started. And we're going to play all of these going around the circle of fifths. We're just going to do major scales today, going around the circle of fifths backwards, jazz style. So starting on C major, then F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, and C. That's the sequence that I like my students to practice their scales and chords in, or when they're transposing everything to all 12 keys, going around the circle of fifths, not ascending up or down the scale, but actually going around the circle of fifths. So the first left hand we're going to work on, which I use for pop, sometimes rock, alternative, dance, disco music, is the alternating left hand pattern, which is an eighth note pattern in the left hand, and it is you can play it straight or swung. So we're going to start with it straight, and then we're going to just play 2 octave scales on the right hand with that. So and the scale will be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. As long as you always repeat the top note, it'll fit 4/4 time signature. So here we go. Then we go up to F and do F major. Down to B flat. And the B flat is a black key scale, and that starts on finger number 4, by the way, 4. Up a fourth to E flat, and E flat starts on finger 3. Down a fifth to A flat, and A flat major starts on finger 3 also. I messed up the finger. I'm going to try it again. And up a fourth to D flat, which starts on finger 2. Down to G flat or F sharp major, 6 sharps or 6 flats. That starts on finger 2. Up a fourth to B major. It starts. Oh, we're back to white key, starting on our thumb. Then we go to E major. A major. D major. G major. And we're back to C. Alright, that was just to illustrate how you can go around the circle of fifths with each of these exercises, okay? Practicing the scales. Then you can do it in swing style. So long short pairs, which is a triplet subdivision of 1 a let, 2 a let, 3 a let, 4 a let, or triplet, 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 triangle, 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 triangle. Alright, and then the accents in swing style are every other beat. They're actually in between the beats. So your left hand should be accenting your thumb. And your right hand should be accenting in between every other note. To really work on swinging. That's pretty much the right way to do swing style. Take some practice. And you move up to F. Down to B flat, starting on finger 4. Alright, then you go through the whole circle of fifths like that, practicing your major scales with the left hand toggling or octave alternating in the swing style. And then I should point out that when you're doing the straight style, you can actually accent your pinky, so it's like on every beat, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Alright, so you can work on different accents with the toggling. It's great for getting a more groovy sound out of your left hand when you're using this, when you're playing chords or singing and playing the piano. Alright, the next style, that's the end of the octave toggling style, although we will also practice all of our major and minor chords. I have a video of this, but I will just show you a little bit right now. This is how, and you can do these major and minor and go around the circle of fifths. So before I move on to the country style, this is how I would practice all my chord inversions with the left hand octave toggling, like this. Then change to minor. And you can do the swing style too if you want. All the majors and minors going around the circle of fifths. Root position, first inversion, second inversion, root position, second inversion, first inversion, root position. And then you can do them on every beat. You can do them every other beat, like half notes, which is what I did. You can do them as whole notes. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or every beat once you get really good. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, to illustrate that all the way through, let me fly through this circle of fifths, doing all the majors and minors, and every beat. Starting on C. C major, C minor, F major, F minor, B flat major, B flat minor, E flat major, E flat minor, and A flat major, A flat minor, D flat major, D flat minor, F sharp major or G flat major, F sharp minor, B major, B minor, E major, E minor, A major, A minor, D major, D minor, G major, G minor, and back to C. Alright, so this first video, we're just trying to illustrate how you can go all the way around the circle of fifths with your scales, major scales and minor scales if you start on the relative minors. I'm not going to illustrate that today, but then also you can practice all of the chord inversions of all the majors and minors. You can even do diminished and augmented in this style, around the circle of fifths. Giving yourself a beat. These are groove. There's the ways to practice improving your left hand groove, the steadiness of it, at various tempos even is a good idea. So I'm going to switch over now. This is where I'll cut the video to move on to country style. All right, so now we're going to switch to doing a country style left hand. We talked about, so the country style left hand alternates between roots and fifths of whatever chord you're on, or whatever scale you're on. And there's a rest in between. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. I usually practice these a little bit slower. Straight and swung. So the C scale sounds like this. The country style left hand. These are my groove style scales, country style, and then you can swing it. And like everything else, we practice going up a fourth, down a fifth, around the circle of fifths. Swung style or straight. That's swung eighth notes or straight eighth notes, down to B flat, starting on finger 4. Always repeat the top note, and then swing style. Awesome. Okay, then you proceed through all 12 major keys. Back to the key C. All right, the second country style left hand pattern you can practice is in an octave shape, okay? So I like to put the root in the middle here with finger 2 and then have my pinky and thumb on the fifths here of the C chord. So this way I can reach the fifth above or below, and this is the pattern. It goes root, fifth, 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 root, fifth, 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 just like this. And now you get a left hand that hits every beat. And this is super helpful. A lot of country songs sound like this. This is a country groove, a 2-beat country groove. And this is the left hand we were using before. But if you can't play the backbeat up here like this, then you need a left hand pattern that allows you to accent the backbeat. And that's what this is designed to do. So now we can noodle around and solo and sing over this and account for every beat of the country, of a 2 or 4 beat country groove. So I'm accenting my thumb 1 and 2 and 3 and, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And you can do them with eighth notes like this, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or quarters like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So we're going to do the quarter notes here on every beat so we can keep the eighth notes in our right hand with the C scale straight. Right, and I realize that the fingering is actually 3 in the middle here. Octave G's with the root in the middle. 3 is the most comfortable. Some people prefer 2, but 3 seems to work best for me. Then you can swing this, swing style. Practices at different tempos, you know. Move up to F. Swing style. B flat. Get the idea. You can practice your scale 2 or 4 octaves actually. You can do 1 octave, 2 octaves, or 4 octaves, and it should, as long as you repeat the top note, this will fit a 4/4 measure. So you can really solidify your left hand, strengthen your left hand ability to keep a steady groove. Set a metronome. Make yourself do it at 3 different tempos. All right, so we push that through all 12 major keys, practicing our major scale fingerings. While keeping a steady left hand in the country style. All Alright, that pretty much does it for, you can use the country left hand to practice your chord inversions as well. So setting yourself up, here's version 1, beat 1 and 3, so you do your chords every 2 beats. Major and minor chords all the way around the circle of fifths. Alright, then you go up to F. And here's the alternate left hand. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The F minor. B flat. You can practice all your major and minor chord inversions trying either one of these country style left hands. Again, you can play the right hand chord. Going back to C as the example, you can play the right hand chord on every beat if you want. Or minor. Oops. F minor. Okay, and here I'll do on B flat, I'll do it with this pattern. Then you get every beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, something like that, all the way through on every chord. Okay, so that pretty much does it for the ways I would practice. What this is going to develop over time is the ability to have such a sound left hand, such a solid left hand, driving the groove of whatever song you're playing. Imagine soloing over this. So if you have this sort of, whether you're using major scale or pentatonic, or blues. Alright, to be able to freely noodle and play the right hand with scale passages in different rhythms and things, straight style versus swing style, our left hand has to be the solid foundation. We have to train this to be a metronome. And be flexible to do different accents and stuff, so our music is very groovy and very danceable. So this is great for people that want to learn to solo on the piano while being the bass player, or people that sing and play. Alright, so I've designed these scale and chord exercises, and you can do these with blues scales and pentatonic scales as well. Today we're just focusing on the major scales, because most students start by just trying to perfect the major scale and doing them with different accent patterns. We're doing them with straight eighth notes versus swung eighth notes. You can also do these with triplets eventually. So, alright, now moving on to option 3. This is where we're going to probably cut the video, and then on this video we're going to be trying a walking bass line in our left hand while practicing our major scales and all of our major and minor chords. So 2 options really. 4 beats would be just arpeggiating the major chords, so starting in the key of C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So this is your groove. Just a basic arpeggio as a super simple walking bass line, alright? Then you play your scale. Straight eighth notes. Swung eighth notes. Oops. Got so crazy with my left hand I bumped the camera, sorry. Alright, so swinging the eighth notes. Again, trying to accent every other note. Not on the beat, off the beat. Very tricky to do. And then these, by the way, a walking bass line should be very, almost like a accented staccato. Just space in between so it sounds sort of plucked. Kind of a heaviness to it too. We definitely don't want this to be legato. Alright, bass lines, imagine a plucked bass or a string bass going boom, 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 boom. That's the style we want to develop here. And I even have a tendency to accent 2 and 4, this middle note here. Alright, so then we would push that up to the key of F. E flat. Oops. And then you go all the way around the circle of fifths. E flat. Walking this bass line here. A flat. flat. F sharp or G flat major. Now we come down here. I'll go down here. B major. Then E. Whoops. So even I have to practice it. A major. D. And G. And back to C. All the way around the circle of fifths, backwards, practicing a walking bass line. The alternate walking bass line that might be good to get you a start on sort of walking a bass line more in a blues style or an oldies rock style is to add the sixth here. Now, it is a change of fingering. We have to most of the major chords that we do with the sixth, you have to alter the fingering here. 5, 3, 2, 1, or almost do like a crossover. Some of them will do a crossover. So I'll illustrate the fingering on each major chord. So you have it. So option 2, and this sort of gets us started. We loop these 4 beats here: root, third, fifth, sixth. Note the sixth of every major chord is always a whole step above. Okay, this is a major sixth. So when you see C6, a C6 chord, it means to add the A, and that's what we're going to be outlining. And we're going to practice the major scale with this. This would also sound great with the pentatonic scale, by the way. And again, our left hand is just heavy and plucked, all right? And then we'll go through each. So F, B flat would be like this. And then E flat. Again, this is sort of the same fingering. A flat, D flat, and then F sharp or G flat, and then a B, and E. And here's where we get the crossover. So we get to E because the sixth is a whole step above B here. We have to cross over, or switch to using 5, 4, 3, 2. This is an alternate fingering, a little trickier. Alright, so let me give you those two fingerings. When you're on E and A, the next two chords in this sequence, you can either keep your 5, 3, 1 and cross, like this, or you can slide in and get your thumb up there, which isn't really useful if you want to go to any other note over this, like the seventh. Or you can open up and use every finger except for your thumb. 5, 4, 3, 2. So with this E scale, with the crossover, or swung style. Alright, so eventually when you walk a full bass line, you kind of get used to crossing over and tucking under to hit the seventh in like E blues, or if this was like an E oldies rock song, you might tuck under like this to get the root on top, or use every finger. This fingering is definitely neat. So here's every finger. So that's why we have some alternate fingerings for this, and it's just troublesome because of the fact that the sixth is a black key above this, so it's hard to get our thumb up on there. And if we did that, the crossing over would be very awkward. So play around with those fingers. Here it is on A with the crossover: A, C sharp, E, F sharp. And swing style. Okay, and then the alternate fingering would be kind of leaving our thumb for this octave here and getting used to walking up, arpeggiating the chord of the sixth here. Okay, D fits like this, G, and you're back to C, alright? So a couple different walking bass line options, just very rudiment beginning type of walking bass line options that you would use over any major chord. And you can go ahead and practice the major scale with that, and at different tempos in swing and straight style. You can walk the bass line and do your chord inversions too. So you want to practice your major chord, C major, and we'll go back to just the arpeggio. It seems to work better for the chord inversions. C major on every beat, or every other beat, or every measure. So here's whole notes. And then here's half notes. Minor. So every beat. So if you're just getting into doing chord inversions, start by just walking this bass line and changing the chord inversion on every measure, every 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, change. First inversion, second inversion, first inversion. All right, and then after you do the majors up and back, you do the minor. And we go around the circle of fifths up to F. And then F minor. Doing the walking bass line, and then B flat, and B flat minor, E flat, all the way around the circle of fifths. Do the major, and then the parallel minor, and pivot down a fourth or up, down a fifth or up a fourth, and you go around the circle of fifths backwards to practice all your chord inversions with that style of left hand. Here's where we're going to stop. We went over the walking bass line style of left hand. All these are groove style exercises. Now I'm going to transition over to one more option, which is a ballad left hand. And ballad meaning like sappy music, so like arpeggios. Alright, and it's an open voicing kind of thing. And it's open because the initial chord is like this instead of like this. So this is my ballad left hand, introduction to my ballad left hand pattern, also known as the secret sauce. Because when you put a melody with it, sounds beautiful, you know. And you're using pedal, or you don't have to use pedal, you can connect it all without it. So that's the 6/8. Today we're going to do the ballad left hand as if it was in 4/4 though. It's a little trickier because it adds in an extra tuck under here. And there's 2 fingerings you're going to use. The counting is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we can do this on every major chord and every minor chord. Alright, so today we're just doing the major scale, so we're going to try playing our major scale with this pattern.